If you've been scrolling through endless listings, watching video after video trying to decide which pallet stacker actually makes sense for your shop, this review is going to clear that up. You've probably measured your aisle width, thought about how many pallets you need to lift each day, and maybe even wondered whether a manual unit can keep up with a motorized one. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's walk through the real-world considerations that matter once you actually pull the thing onto the concrete floor. First off, picture a typical small to medium warehouse or a busy workshop where you're moving open-deck pallets of sheet metal, lumber, or boxed parts. The job isn't a non-stop 24-hour operation, but you still need to get those pallets up to a shelving unit that sits about 5 feet off the ground. A manual pallet stacker like the Fworkleft model promises a 2,200-pound capacity and a 63-inch lift height, which on paper sounds like enough muscle to handle most loads you'll encounter. The key question is whether the manual hydraulic system feels like a boost or a chore when you're actually lifting. From the day I set the stacker down, the first thing I noticed was how the adjustable forks accommodate different pallet widths without a toolbox. You can slide the forks out, lock them in place, and you're ready for a standard 48-inch pallet or a narrower one you might use for custom-cut material. That flexibility saves you from having to buy a second stacker or a set of adapters, and it's a genuine time saver when you're swapping loads every couple of hours. The fixed legs, while they limit the ability to change the wheelbase on the fly, give the unit a solid, stable stance during lifts. In practice, that means you can lean the stacker against a rack and still feel confident that the load won't wobble as you raise it. The manual hydraulic lift with a safety lock is another practical strength. Because there's no electric motor, you're not worrying about battery life, charging stations, or electrical hazards in damp environments. You pull the hand lever, the hydraulic pump does the heavy lifting, and the safety lock holds the forks in place once you reach the desired height. For operators who are used to hand-powered equipment, the effort feels reasonable, a few firm pushes, and the pallet rises smoothly. That simplicity translates into lower maintenance costs, fewer moving parts, no motor brushes to replace, and the whole unit can be serviced with a standard set of hand tools. If your budget is tight and you don't need a high-speed, continuously running stacker, the manual design gives you a lot of bang for the buck. Of course, the manual nature also introduces a trade-off. Lifting a full 2,200-pound load takes a noticeable amount of force, especially if the pallet is loaded unevenly or contains heavy, dense items like steel coils. In a high-traffic setting where you need to move dozens of pallets an hour, the repeated physical effort can fatigue staff faster than a powered unit would. The lift speed is limited to how quickly you can pump the lever, so you won't be achieving the rapid cycle times you see on electric stackers. Additionally, the fixed legs make tight turn maneuvers a bit clumsy. If your aisles are narrower than 8 feet, you might find the unit scrapes the racking more often than you'd like. Finally, because the stacker is purely manual, there's no built-in load weight sensor, so you're relying on your own judgment to stay within the 2,200-pound limit. That's fine for experienced crews, but adds a layer of responsibility for newer operators, who should put this stacker in their inventory. Small distribution businesses that handle a moderate volume of pallets, contractors who need a reliable lift for occasional job sites, and DIY shops that move heavy boxes or equipment a few times a day are ideal candidates. The unit's price point sits well below most electric stackers, and the lack of a battery means you can keep it out on the floor year-round without worrying about charging cycles. If you run a boutique furniture workshop, a bike parts store, or a parts recovery department where the load size varies but never spikes into the multi-ton range, the Fworkleft manual stacker gives you the capacity and lift height without the ongoing electricity bill. On the other hand, if you manage a large fulfillment center that processes hundreds of pallets per shift, or if you need to move pallets continuously over long distances, you'll likely feel the strain of the manual pump. In those environments, a motorized stacker or forklift that can sustain high throughput and reduce operator fatigue becomes a more sensible investment, even if the upfront cost is higher. Also, businesses that operate in extremely tight spaces with aisles narrower than 7 feet should consider a model with a tighter turning radius. The fixed leg design on this unit can be a limiting factor. All things considered, the Fworkleft manual pallet stacker delivers what it promises: a sturdy, 2,200-pound capacity lift that reaches up to 63 inches, with adjustable forks that make it adaptable to a range of pallet